King Jigme Wangchuk and Queen Jetsun Pema are often described as one of the most captivating and graceful royal couples in the world. Their romance unfolded like an oriental fairy tale, complete with a joyous and fulfilling ending. Yet, within Bhutan's long-standing traditions, a monarch is expected to have multiple wives, preferably sisters of his first queen. Jetsun herself has sisters whose beauty rivals that of professional models, and according to custom, the king could have chosen to marry one of them. But this leads to a lingering question: why didn't he take another wife before, and why has he not married Jetsun's sister even now? Before we uncover these answers, don't forget to like this video. Let's begin! The tale of Jigme and Jetsun is so enchanting that it could easily be turned into a television series, blending both melodrama and mysticism. Bhutan itself feels like a kingdom out of legend, where ancient traditions continue to thrive due to its isolation from modern civilization. Nestled high in the Tibetan mountains, this small nation reveres the teachings of Buddha, relies on yaks instead of cars for transport, and even measures journeys by the number of cups of tea enjoyed along the way. In this land where faith in reincarnation and destiny runs deep, the story of how the king and queen first met only strengthened these beliefs among the Bhutanese people. Their first encounter was unusual and almost mystical. At the time, Jigme was just 17, the crown prince of Bhutan, while Jetsun was only 7 years old, a child still playing with dolls. Yet when the prince looked into her eyes, he boldly declared, "When you grow up, I will take you as my wife." The little girl calmly replied with surprising maturity, "Only if I don't meet someone better and if you don't forget." What seemed like the innocent words of a child turned into destiny, because 14 years later, the two indeed became husband and wife. By the time of their union, Jetsun had grown into an elegant, well-educated young woman. She completed her schooling in neighboring India, while Jigme pursued higher education abroad, graduating first from Boston University in the United States and later from Oxford University in England. In 2006, at the age of 28, Jigme ascended the throne after his father abdicated, making him the youngest monarch in Bhutan's history. Just 4 years later, the nation buzzed with sensational news: the king had kept his childhood promise. After 14 long years, he asked Jetsun for her hand in marriage. This decision must have come naturally to him, for Jetsun had blossomed into a confident, refined woman who carried both Eastern grace and Western sophistication. Since she had not found anyone better, as she once playfully said, she accepted his proposal. Their wedding became a national celebration, held on October 11, 2011, a date chosen by the royal astrologers as the most auspicious. The ceremony was steeped in ancient Tibetan traditions, overseen by the High Lama, who officially declared Jigme and Jetsun husband and wife. In a powerful symbolic act, the Dragon King, as the Bhutanese affectionately call their monarch, placed the crown upon Jetsun's head, elevating her as queen. But what followed shocked everyone present: the king kissed his new bride on the lips in public. While this might seem ordinary elsewhere, in Bhutan public displays of affection were once strictly forbidden. Barely 60 to 70 years earlier, such behavior could have led to imprisonment in dark underground cells. Yet Jigme, overwhelmed by his love, openly defied this taboo. To everyone's surprise, instead of outrage, the Bhutanese people embraced this act, even approving of it. Times were changing, and Bhutan, though still deeply traditional, was slowly becoming more open. More importantly, the people adored their king and queen, and their pride in the royal couple only grew stronger. Jigme and Jetsun were beloved not only because of their positions but also for their down-to-earth nature. Even before marriage, they were often seen strolling hand-in-hand through the streets of Thimphu, chatting freely, or sitting casually at cafes like ordinary citizens. They continued this openness after becoming king and queen. Rather than settling in a grand castle, the couple chose a modest, single-story home. They walked among their people without hesitation and did not hide their affection for one another, becoming symbols of a new, modern Bhutanese monarchy. But King Jigme's love extended beyond his wife; it also reached his people. Determined to uplift Bhutan, he introduced reforms that improved the lives of ordinary citizens. Landless peasants were granted plots of unused farmland, industries began to emerge in a nation that had long been compared to medieval societies, and progress slowly but steadily took root. Queen Jetsun played an active role as well, leading efforts to improve healthcare, education, and cultural development, achieving remarkable success alongside her husband. In their personal lives, the royal couple built a loving family. 5 years after their wedding, Jetsun gave birth to their first child, a son and heir to the throne named Caesar. The king, deeply devoted, stayed by her side throughout the pregnancy and was even present during the birth, unwilling to leave his beloved wife for a single moment. For years later, their second son, Prince Eugeon, was born, completing the family. Jetsun continues to support her husband in both domestic and international matters, often accompanying him on foreign visits and assisting in high-level negotiations. The couple has also formed bonds with other royal families, including Britain's Prince William and Kate Middleton, who once visited Bhutan. Despite the cultural differences between their worlds, the two royal couples found much in common. Jetsun and Kate became friends, with the Bhutanese queen even teaching Kate the art of archery, while Jigme shared the story of his own unconventional love with Prince William, a tale of devotion that challenged centuries of tradition. However, one obstacle continued to shadow their seemingly perfect love story: the long-standing Bhutanese tradition of polygamy. Among the aristocracy, it was expected for men to marry multiple wives, usually 3 or 4, and often the sisters of their first spouse. Among commoners, the practice sometimes went the other way, with one woman taking several husbands, sometimes 5 or even 10. For the king, tradition dictated that he should marry additional wives, ideally Jetsun's sisters. His own father, King Jigme Sinji, followed this practice, marrying 4 sisters, Wangma and her 3 siblings, who together bore him 10 children. Jetsun, too, has 2 sisters who share her striking beauty, making them perfect candidates according to custom. Yet Jigme refused to follow this path. The king boldly declared that he would never take a second or third wife, breaking firmly with the patriarchal expectations of the past. He made his stance clear both as a monarch and as a husband, proclaiming that while Bhutan was once ruled by ancient customs, it was now guided by love. Interestingly, the weight of tradition was not entirely ignored. Jigme's younger brother, Dorji, ended up marrying one of Jetsun's sisters, Yitso. Fortunately, it was no forced match, for Dorji admitted he had truly fallen in love with her.